Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Let's create a frame structure with this point. Let's create a compound with all the lines that have been created. Let's build the mesh. We need to create groups within the mesh in order to be able to apply the boundary conditions and loads later on. Now we need to save the mesh. Notice that we have created 3 groups. 2 of those groups are groups of nodes and 1 is a group of edges. We can see then, one by one, the 4 nodes in the bottom of the structure, 2 of the top nodes where we're going to apply the load, and all the elements, the edge elements. We can now activate the Aster Study module. Let's add the stage. Let's import the mesh that we have created. We can now define the model that we're going to use in our simulation. This option tells CodeAster to apply the model to all elements. Notice that we are using the PODE element. It corresponds to the Euler-Bernoulli formulation for a beam. The bar element only has 3 degrees of freedom. Now we can choose the cross section. We are going to use the beams group that we have created in the mesh package. Now let's define the material. This is the elasticity modulus, and this is the coefficient of Poisson. We need to apply the material. We can now define the boundary conditions and loads. These boundary conditions restrains all the degrees of freedom of the nodes. We're going to apply to the 4 nodes at the base of the structure. Let's define the load that's going to be applied to the load group, which is those 2 nodes in the top of the structure. We can now define the kind of analysis that we want to make, which is static mechanic analysis. Let's define the post-processing. Let's define the output file. We can now run the analysis. Activate the ParaViz module. We can visualize all these stresses